Okay, let's continue our conversation on Marcus Aurelius and the Meditations. We landed in Book 10, and section 16, I think, is one of the most quoted passages of Marcus Aurelius. It's very short, and I don't know how long we need to talk about this, but I think there is a thing or two to be said about this. Section 16. No more roundabout discussion of what makes a good man. Be one. Couldn't be simpler. And in true Marcus Aurelius fashion, it is concise to the point of being caustic. I mean, this is a serious admonition, of course, written to himself. And yes, the irony of talking about this in a series of videos on Stoicism is not lost on me, but bear with me. How many times do we find ourselves knowing what the right thing is and yet not doing it? And how many times do we give people advice, but we don't actually take that advice ourselves? How many times do we preach to others about how they should act? And how often do we just not follow our own counsel? I think Marcus Aurelius sums it up remarkably succinctly here. And this, I think, truly is a quote that you can memorize. It's basically a sentence and 2 words. That's good to have at hand. Not just for the practice of Stoicism, because I think you can apply this whether Stoicism appeals to you or not. But I think in general, the idea of stop talking about what needs to be done. Stop talking about what it means to be a good person. Stop talking about what it means to help others. Do it! Be known by your actions. Be defined by your actions, not by your words. I had a discussion about a week ago with a student as we were going digitally, because it's pandemic times, over her exam. And at the end she said, I just have a question. What exactly would you like me to call you? Like Dr. Brown or Mr. Brown or Stephen or whatever? And I said, no, Stephen, please. And my standard answer to students is always, no, Stephen, because if you call me Dr. Brown, then that makes me feel like I should know what I'm talking about. So please don't. But more seriously, I explained this to her as well. I said I think it's always good to start off with someone's academic titles in an academic setting, and some people really value that. Some people insist like an instructor, professor, instructor, professor, student relationship, that they would be called doctor or professor or whatever. And I understand that. An academic title is something that takes a lot of time to obtain. All of this I explained to the student. However, I said, for me, and I'm very serious, I'm not just saying this, I'm very serious about this, I would rather be respected by the students I teach because of my behavior, because of the way I teach, because of the way I treat them, which I try to do, of course, with as much respect as I can. I would much rather gain their respect through my actions than by insisting that I'm called Dr. Brown and then using that as some sort of authoritative perspective or something to create that role. Now, again, I know that some people insist that they're called, doctor this or that, whatever. I understand. Again, there's a lot of work that goes into a title like that, so I understand that, right? But for me, my reasoning has always been that I want to earn people's respect by my actions and not enforce it through titles, which, by the way, I'm sorry, this may sound a bit sardonic, I don't know, but I mean, outside of academia, these titles have incredibly little meaning in my mind. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So, this was just an example, but I just wanted to give this as an illustration of how I try to apply this specific quote, for example. Don't talk about what it means to be a good man, or, of course, for that matter, person. This is translated from ancient Greek, but obviously this doesn't just apply to men, right? Stop talking about what it means to be a good person, be one. And it's in small things. Do you have to send the gossipy email? Or the gossipy text message? Or is it not vital? Do you need to talk about a certain person with another person? Or is it not vital? These are small things. And these are things we all do. I do this too, right? But then every once in a while I have that realization of I should watch that more. Because it's not necessary. And saying you're striving to be a virtuous person, I would be very loath to self-apply this term, right? But if you wish to be a Stoic, virtue matters most. It's the most important thing. So if you strive to be a virtuous person, it's very easy to talk about what that means. Why you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you should... Or you can do it. Be that person. It's a choice. Every second of every day you make choices. Do I do this? Do I do that? Do I have this for lunch or that for lunch? You can be virtuous. But then you have to make that active choice to do so. To be so. And often I think that's where things go wrong and where we don't do those things. And then this particular sentence, stop debating what a good person is. Be one, is a very powerful reminder, right? Just do it. Don't think about it. Don't talk about it. Do it. Just do it. It's a hard one. And I think often we will fail. We will fail because we're not perfect. We're not perfect. But we try. And in trying, in making that sincere effort, we make progress. Perhaps we send one gossipy email less this week. And if we send one fewer email like that, then that alone is progress. Not even mentioning the bigger things in life where you can make actual progress. Right? In striving to be less distracted, less offended, less frustrated, and whatever it is you choose to work on. Stop debating. Be one. Powerful words, I think, and I don't think there's a whole lot more to say about this as far as I'm concerned, but by all means, leave comments below and tell me how you feel about this particular quote, what it means to you, how you apply it. It's always interesting to read those things. I hope this was useful, and I'll be back next week for more talk about Stoicism.